The xenobiology amphitheater on Threshold Station hummed with the quiet static of 200 young minds from 40 different worlds, all focused on the massive holographic display at the front of the room. Professor Vantrick, a Dravith instructor with mottled blue skin and 4 expressive eye stalks, paced before the screen with the practiced confidence of someone who had given this lecture 1,000 times. Today, Vantrick announced, his translator collar humming with each syllable, we discussed the concept of the apex predator, a creature so dominant in its ecosystem that it faces no natural threat. Observe. The hologram flickered to life, displaying a creature that looked like an armored serpent with too many legs, tearing through a herd of smaller animals on some distant world. The students murmured in appreciation. The Crizzle Coil Strider, Vantrick continued, 30 meters long, capable of sensing prey through vibration alone. No known predator on its homeworld. Lucy, a young human woman sitting near the front with her dark hair pulled into a practical braid, leaned over to her friend Alex and whispered, "That's basically a big snake with legs." Alex, lanky and perpetually amused by the universe's tendency to overestimate itself, just shrugged. Big snake with legs sounds like a Tuesday back home. Vantrick's eye stalks swiveled toward them, but he continued. The display changed to a creature resembling a cross between a bear and a scorpion, its chitinous plates gleaming under an alien sun. The Threxian void bear, apex of its ecosystem for over 400,000 years. Its carapace can withstand kinetic impacts that would liquefy lesser organisms. More murmurs. A Grindari student in the back row let out a low whistle of appreciation, his species equivalent of awe. This went on for the better part of an hour. Creature after creature paraded across the screen. The Umbral Reaper of Kathos 4, all shadow and silent death. The Coral Devourer of the Thren Deep, a many-armed horror that farmed its prey by keeping them alive and paralyzed for months. The Skyran Talon, an apex aerial hunter that could dive at speeds that turned atmosphere into a sonic weapon. Each time, Vantrick listed the same qualifications. No natural predator. Undisputed dominance. Evolutionary supremacy through claws, venom, size, or speed. Lucy noticed Alex getting progressively quieter, which for Alex was always a warning sign. He wasn't the type to stay quiet when he had something to say. He was the type who once explained, unprompted, to a Roniti ambassador why humans found the concept of personal space culturally fascinating rather than offensive for 11 straight minutes. "You're doing the thing," Lucy whispered. "What thing?" "The thing where you go quiet because you're building up to something insufferable." Alex grinned, but said nothing. Finally, Vantrick dimmed the display and addressed the class. These creatures represent nature's pinnacle achievement, organisms that evolved beyond the fear of predation. They rule their domains absolutely. Questions? Alex's hand went up. Vantrick's eye stalks rotated toward him with what might have been reluctance. The Dravith professor had, over the course of the semester, developed a healthy wariness of the human students' questions, which had a tendency to derail otherwise straightforward lectures into philosophical spirals about human nature that left half the class either laughing or deeply unsettled. "Yes, Alex. Professor, quick question. All these apex predators, they dominate their ecosystems because nothing hunts them, right? Nothing preys on them. Nothing competes with them at the top." "Precisely. So what happens?" Alex continued, leaning forward. "When something does show up, something that isn't even trying to be a predator, doesn't have claws or venom or armor, and just decides the apex predator is a problem to be solved." The amphitheater went quiet. Vantrick's eye stalks narrowed. Sensing a trap he couldn't quite see the shape of yet. That would be a hypothetical scenario requiring specific ecological context. "Humanity's homeworld," Alex said, "has approximately 1.3 million recorded species. For most of our history, we were not the strongest, fastest, or most dangerous thing on the planet. We didn't have claws. We didn't have natural venom. We didn't have armor, wings, or the ability to sense vibrations through the earth. Compared to nearly every apex predator you just showed us, we were, biologically speaking, soft." Vantrick's collar hummed uncertainly. "Your point being?" "My point," Alex said, standing up now, warming to the subject the way he always did, "is that every single species you just showed the class as an apex predator evolved to be unkillable within its own ecosystem. They're apex because nothing else showed up to challenge them. Humans didn't get that luxury. We had actual apex predators as roommates. Saber-toothed cats, cave bears twice our size, pack hunters faster than us in every conceivable way. And yet you survived, Vantrick said carefully. We didn't just survive, Professor. We ended them. A ripple went through the room. Lucy put her face in her hands, torn between embarrassment and the creeping certainty that Alex was about to win this argument in the most Alex way possible. The coil strider you showed us, Alex continued, gesturing at the now dark screen, is 30 meters of pure evolved killing machine, and it achieved that status by outcompeting everything else that tried to compete with it, over millions of years, through claws and venom and size. That's nature's version of an apex predator. But humans didn't evolve claws to beat the saber-tooth. We evolved the ability to plan. We looked at a creature faster than us, stronger than us, better armed than us in every single physical category, and we said, that's fine, we'll dig a hole, or throw a rock, or wait until it's asleep, or all show up at once with sharpened sticks. Vantrick's eye stalks had gone very still, a Dravith tell for intense focus. We are the only known species, Alex said, that became the apex predator of our world without any of the biological tools every other apex predator on this list required. No venom, no claws, no natural armor, no superior speed. We just refused to lose. Every apex predator you displayed today earned its position through evolution handing it the right weapons. Humanity earned its position by evolution handing us nothing and us deciding that wasn't going to be a permanent condition. The amphitheater was silent except for the soft hum of the ventilation system. A Threxian student near the back, whose species was distantly related to the very void bear that had been displayed earlier, leaned forward with new interest. So your claim, Vantrick said slowly, is that humanity qualifies as an apex predator despite lacking every defining physical trait associated with the classification. My claim, Alex said, is that humanity is the only species in this lecture that had to outthink its way to the top instead of out-evolving its way there. Every creature you showed us is dangerous because of what it is. Humans are dangerous because of what we figured out how to do. That's not a footnote, Professor. That's the entire point. You can breed a bigger claw. You can't breed the specific, spiteful ingenuity of a hairless ape standing over a fire at 2 a.m., staring at a dead saber-tooth, and thinking, yeah, and I'd do it again. Someone in the back laughed, a nervous, delighted sound. Lucy peeked between her fingers to see half the class staring at Alex with something between fascination and alarm, which was, she reflected, the standard human experience of being observed by the galaxy at large. Vantrick's eye stalk slowly rotated back toward the display, and for a long moment, the old professor said nothing. Then, with the careful precision of an academic revising a long-held thesis in real time, he spoke. Class, Vantrick said, we will be adding an addendum to today's lecture. He turned back to the console, and the display flickered once more, this time cycling past the coil strider, past the void bear, past every claw and fang and venomous sting the galaxy had to offer, and settled, finally, on a single image. A grainy historical photograph of early humans standing around a fire, spears in hand, having just brought down something far larger and far more dangerous than themselves. Apex predators, Vantrick said, are defined by biology. Humanity appears to be the exception that redefines the category. Let the record show, the student's objection stands. Lucy finally lowered her hands from her face, caught Alex's eye, and mouthed a single word, insufferable. Alex just grinned and sat back down.